February 9, 2024. This is the S&P 500 E-Futures Mini on the 2000 tick chart using NinjaTrader 8. This is what the charts look like today. There was no real economic data to really motivate the market any which way. This was the pre-market highs and the pre-market lows. Now, I wouldn't say it was really range bound, although it did stay between, for most of the time, between the pre-market high and pre-market lows. It never really went up and touched and came back down. It kind of rallied, sold off, and then did a very, very slow grinding rally that I tried to capture as best I could. It ended up being like two overlapping legs, bullish legs, and there was like maybe three consolidation areas. I took a total of two trades. They're both profitable, and I didn't see too many other trades set up. The volume today wasn't as bad. It was a little bit higher than yesterday, but there just wasn't as many setups as there was yesterday. Well, I take it back. Yesterday, there wasn't that many setups either. It was kind of sparse, but it was more choppy. Today, it was just kind of slow and tired, I would say. I'm going to go into the chart right now. So this is pre-market. It looked like it kind of rallied, and then for whatever reason, around 5:30, there was a big spike up, and then kind of a slow, I guess, sell-off down. Let's see, I'm going to take a quick look at the Forex Factory. Yeah, so I can confirm, I'm not really sure why this happened right around 5:30. There was no economic data that really came out. Maybe there was something else that happened, or I don't have the latest news. But in any case, on the market open, it never came back down, touched bottom. And at this time, when I saw this, I wasn't quite convinced it's going to be a range day. I just wasn't really sure what was happening because the range isn't very reliable. So pre-market, it sells off, it opens. It's kind of choppy. I don't see any really good setups yet. There is technically a new high, say first entry long, second entry long, but this is just very congested. It's kind of in the middle of nowhere. You could argue it just is about to break above the EMA, but would you say you're going to go long or would you say you're going to go short? Because the EMA is kind of holding prices down, and I don't know, so I was going to leave it alone. Prices then look like it's chopping and consolidating in this range, and it fits pretty well, but I didn't really see any good clean setups. This is a 4-point range, so I mean, you could try to scalp a point out of this, but I want a little bit bigger range, especially when the candles themselves are moving about 2 points, so it kind of gets a little sketchy. This is actually where I take my first setup though. So it's breaking out of this range. I see this as a new low. It's a first entry short. You don't get a second entry short till about here. So here, the second entry short hasn't failed, but it is starting to stay on top of the EMA. And I saw this as a overshoot of this green channel. So it kind of made a corresponding overshoot here. I'm thinking it was in this channel, made one leg up, it's consolidating, and made a second leg up. Now, is it going to push up and then come back down? I wasn't too sure, so I waited for this next candle to close. So this confirms the failed second entry short, first entry short, second entry short, two legs up, comes back down, it fails. This could end up being a higher low. So when I saw this, I was thinking, actually, it's kind of above the EMA. It looks like it could be a failed breakout and it comes back into this trading range, or it could be a failed breakout pullback. I was kind of betting on the breakout pullback and a test of this high. So I entered at the high of this candle, and I was only going for a really quick scalp. So I was able to get my quick scalp. Granted, it's not the cleanest setup, but I felt pretty good about this bullish candle. And then this one was indecisive so it was a little riskier, but I saw it as a potential breakout pullback, as I said before. So for me, I took the risk. It isn't the best trade, so in hindsight, maybe it could have been skipped. Then I also saw this as a new high, say first entry long, creates this triple test at the top. Then it has a potential to create a second entry long, creates a second entry long. So when it opens, it actually starts moving and it's oscillating. It's showing some strength. So I entered on the confirmed second entry long, one tick above. I was able to quickly get my 1 point scalp. I wasn't trying to push for anything more because I was concerned that this might be the high that could see some kind of resistance, or maybe even right here. I didn't have this red channel drawn yet, so ignore it. And it looks like if I overstayed my welcome, I probably would have gotten stopped out by this candle because I would have, well, I did put my stop below here, and this candle definitely would have stopped me out. And then of course prices go where you think it's going to go. So I'll admit this trade is a little more aggressive because this signal bar, although it's a decent signal bar, it is an inside bar. So both of these trades weren't the most highest probability. And I think it was probably a little subconscious frustration for the last week, pretty much, where trading was really slow and difficult, that I took these two kind of on a whim more than a clean setup. So I did note that to myself in my own journaling that I had to be careful when I feel these this way. Granted, they are the setups, they are the failed second entry shorts, and they are the second entry longs, but it wasn't the cleanest, so it easily could have been skipped. I also saw a new low here. It's the first entry short, second entry short. This could be a failed breakout pullback. And I thought this is a possible trade because not failed breakout pullback, but a failed breakout. I wasn't sure this was the trading range yet, but I was thinking there is some kind of resistance here. Tried one attempt up, second attempt up, third attempt up. And here when it confirmed and flashed down, I thought, okay, this is a confirmed second entry short. If I was to try to take this trade, it's kind of have bullish bias. I would probably be conservative and put my entries somewhere up here. I wouldn't be that confident putting it down here in hopes of having the price push down even more. And it looks like if I did try to take this trade, it wouldn't have gotten filled. And prices then continue chopping. So here I'm pretty confident there's some kind of range here because it's respecting the support here and it's respecting some kind of resistance up here. Pops around, now it starts to break through. Okay, at this point I do draw this red channel here and I matched it up so it has at least two touches and two touches at the bottom, but I'm not that I don't feel that strongly about this channel because it's pretty much a trading range with a bullish bias. So I needed a third confirmation at the top or bottom to feel confident in using those as potential key entry points. When it chops around, you do have a new high, first entry long, second entry long. This second entry long isn't a very good signal bar. Nothing here tells me to go long. Plus, it's already pressing against the localized high. Yeah, there is enough room. If you're thinking it's going to push all the way up here, that's true. But at this moment, prices are pretty much moving sideways. And then chops around. It creates this other consolidated area. I saw a triple test here because originally I had this higher, but then when I saw these two and then this one spiked down, I dragged it down to here and I was thinking, is there a possible trade here? Possible triple test? Potentially, because it does work. You do have enough room for a quick 1 point scalp, but I wanted a little bit more than just, a triple test and a good signal bar. Turns out, being conservative didn't pay off because it did work and prices continue moving. So it starts breaking out of this red channel, and I was thinking there's an overshoot here, so I'm thinking it might come back and touch the other side. We made first entry long pullback. It's technically a second entry long. This isn't a very good signal bar. I don't like that since the overshot here, to go long feels risky because I feel like it wants to push back to this other side. I also drew this green channel at the time, thinking this is just one leg. Technically, there's two smaller legs inside this one leg. And right now it's still obeying this one leg all the way down. So now you actually don't have the second entry anymore because it's like first entry, second entry, third entry. If flashes up, this is a really big signal bar, but I didn't feel, technically you count this as a higher low, but higher low based off of just being higher than this one. It is bouncing off the bottom of this red channel. This is the third confirmation, but I felt when I see this, I felt a little cautious because you don't know the next candle is going to flash up like that. You could suspect it's going to bounce, and it does. So here, now I'm looking for a setup, potentially a first entry short, second entry short failure. You don't get your failure. I needed this candle to tick one tick below and then push up like that. Then there would have been a trade here. Unfortunately, it didn't do that. And technically, you have your second entry short here now, but whatever setup you were thinking about before, it's kind of moved on because this green channel does want to make its low, and this red channel potentially wants to push back to the other side. So it's a little bit conflicting on what it's going to do, so I had to leave it alone. You could say it's a first entry short, second entry short, failure on the second entry short. It's a pretty decent signal bar on the failure, but I just wanted to leave it alone. I wasn't too sure, so I was being a little more conservative, so I just kind of waited. And then now you see this double bar, so now it's definitely telling me, okay, you're not really sure what's going to go on. This next candle could break either way. It doesn't seem to be leaning one way or the other because you have first entry short, second entry short failure. Then this candle is a mirror image of this one, except it ended bullish. So it's like opened here, closed here, excuse me, opened here, closed here, opened here, closed here. So it's a little bit unsure. Now flashes down. Now I'm wondering the strength of this red channel. Is it going to hold? Definitely, I'm not thinking of any trades yet. I just want more price action to unfold. Creates a new high, first entry long, second entry long potential here. So this is what I would call an almost setup. Now, it's also potentially a fail breakout of this red up channel. It's a close. The close of this signal bar for the second entry long is pretty strong. You don't have a confirmed second entry long yet, but the momentum was really strong. What I wanted, though, to get a trade ready was the close to be at the high or for it to have ticked at least one tick above here. Ideally, this candle would have ticked one tick below here, trap people going short thinking it's going to continue this big leg down, and then flashed up and ideally closed at the very high. Then I would have felt confident that it's going to push through the EMA without any issue. So this is what I call an almost setup. Looks like if you did try to take it, you get filled here and most likely get a quick scalp here. Then I saw a potential higher low here. Now I thought this is a possible trade. It's confirming the second entry long. The failed breakout of this red channel is being confirmed now. It looks like it's moving back in. And this kind of does what I wanted this candle to do. It came down, met the lows, and pushed all the way back, broke through the triple test or the micro triple top here, and even one tick higher and closed. So I thought there was a potential trade here. It's a little aggressive though, but I didn't want to take it because, I was just kind of watching. I wasn't 100% sure on my read. It looked like it worked. Then prices continue chopping. This purple line doesn't exist yet in this time of day. So prices are chopping upwards. So I'm just watching and waiting now. It didn't quite hit the red, top of the red channel. And it's getting a little bit confusing. There's only really first entries here. Breaks out. So here I'm thinking this could be a spike, two legs up on this bigger leg here. Excuse me. I saw this as potentially a leg. Maybe this is a spike and then a kind of a channel. It's kind of a big spike though, so I wasn't too keen on this. But then here, I actually drew the top of this channel first, and then I dragged it to the bottom because it looked like there's a lot of confirmations here. So I wanted to use this as a potential, see it as a potential resistance and see if there's any kind of setup to push it through. Down here, I wasn't too sure. I only had two confirmations. Keeps chopping. You can have first entry long. Here creates your second entry long. First entry long, pull back, second entry long, and then it kind of looked like it failed, but it is kind of meeting, the lows here. But this is what happens on the next move. It closes. So I actually counted this as a break of this yellow channel, came down, made and tested the new low. So the downtrend for this tiny little guy played out, which is good because the overall bias is bullish. And it probably wants to push back into this red channel to test its high. I didn't have this purple channel yet, so I saw this as actually first entry long. And then even though this spiked up and created a second entry long here, I counted this as one leg and I merged this together. So I have visual first entry long, pullback, potential second entry long. It confirms, but I thought there was a potential trade here. The second entry long, it's going to push back into this. It kind of respected the EMA because it was holding, the EMA was holding previously. And then it turns out working. And as prices are moving up, I was watching this and I drew this green channel, but there's no clean entry here. It just looks very, very tight trading here. It breaks out, it touches. So at this point, I'm thinking, okay, this red channel definitely isn't in play anymore because you have so much time price actions dwelling outside this. So that's where I actually drew this purple one. I connected it here first. I said one touch, debatable on whether there's two touch, but definitely a second touch here. So maybe three touches. And I saw the bottom here, one touch, two touch. So I'm thinking maybe prices are moving within this blue channel, this purple channel, excuse me. It's breaking out of this red channel now. The only value this red channel is providing at this point is it was telling you overall context is it was a bullish day and it got really more sharply more bullish here. So you have first entry long, pull back, You don't get a second entry long till here, but this is too far away now. This doesn't feel like any kind of setup. It does fall into this orange channel down. I don't like anything that I particularly see. I saw a break, so I'm looking for a potential drop to test the lows of here, but it is conflicting with the idea that this purple also needs to test its high. So which one's going to win out? I don't really know. So it kind of chops around, makes two measured legs up. It's a new low, first entry short, pull back. Now this, it looks like it could be setting up for a second entry short. It looks like the bulls are losing power. Here, I think this is a possible trade. This is a second entry short, but I didn't like that the signal bar closed like this. This isn't a trading range yet. I didn't draw this blue line at the time, but I did see two legs up. So I'm thinking the uptrend for the correction of this orange channel is played out and made one attempt down, and now it's getting ready to make the second attempt down to test this low. So after I saw this close, I think if I wanted to take a trade, the trade would have been one tick below this guy just to be a little more conservative. And it looks like I wouldn't have gotten filled. If I put it one tick below here, then I would have gotten filled. But I just wanted to save a little bit of the risk. And it looks like in this case, it worked out pretty well. If I, put the entry one tick below here, definitely one tick below here, I would have missed. Prices then continue dropping. It looks like it found some kind of support here. There's no clean entry that I like, but as you can see, this is kind of like from 12:20 Pacific Standard to 12:50. So this is 30 minutes of trading. There's not much going on. And this goes into the last 10 minutes of the day. And of course, it always gets pretty choppy. Unfortunately, this type of setup looks really clean. If this whole trading range was earlier in the day, then I think there's a potential trade here because it went from top to top, back to bottom, had a fail breakout, made one attempt up, and I would think there's some kind of trade potential right here. But it's too late in the day. This is the last 10 minutes, and there's just no more time to mess around because during the last 10 minutes, usually things get a little more choppy as people are closing out their trades. So I don't even consider a trade in the last 10 minutes. It just gets too risky. But overall, this is how I saw the charts today. I took two trades. Both of them were, in my book, a little more aggressive. I think it was a little subconscious reaction to the previous few days being so low and hard to trade. I took these a little bit more aggressively, but overall, I didn't see that many setups that I really particularly liked. Maybe just this one, and there were other setups here that I marked that were, I would say, so-so, but not too many setups that I could find today. So hopefully that was helpful.